Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of the 69 JMP Plexi restoration, right? So I've done a fair bit of work on this amp since part 1. We're going to go through just some tones of how the amp is sounding right now, and the second part of the clip will be on the bench where I'll take you through exactly what we've done to this so far. I think there'll be just one more part, maybe 2 more parts in this, right? And then we will be done. For today's clip, we are running this into a Fryette power station to try and tame the volume to some degree, but it's actually coming through my Marshall 4x12 here. It's got old greenbacks in it, and we're miking it up with a 57, which is going straight into Logic Pro. And I've also got a Rode condenser mic picking up a bit of room sound, just so we kind of get some air in the tone. We'll just go through some basic stuff. I've got the amp dialed in at the moment. I'm in the lead channel, or the treble channel. I've got the volume on 6 here. Okay, trebles on 7, mids are nearly all the way up. Bass is about midday, and presence is about 3 p.m. And we're getting this kind of sound out of this. By the way, this is an 81 gold top Les Paul. Obviously, it's got Thornbucker pickups in it, just a normal Thornbucker. It's not a Thornbucker Plus. And we're getting this kind of tone. Pretty dynamic, pretty flexible, and pretty vintage, I think. Let's bring this up a bit, right? So, as I said, the volume here on the lead channel, or the treble channel, I should say, is on 6. Right? I'm going to bring it right up to 3 p.m. Bring the mids all the way up. I'll probably leave the bass where it is, which is on midday, and I'll bring this presence up. Let's bring all of that all the way up to 10. And we should get a bit more grind out of this thing now. And for a final test, I'm just going to dime it, right? Let's just go all the way. And remember this, we're at 240 volts mains here, so no variac involved. This is just all the way. Bass is on 10. Everything's on 10 now. She sounds like this. coming along pretty well, I reckon. Part 3 will focus on the final part of the restoration for this, right? I'm waiting on some new old stock caps to come in. When they come in, they'll go in here, and then we'll complete this series of clips. Let's go to the bench and I'll show you what I've done. So let's go through what I have done to restore this so far. As I said, there's a part 3 to come where we'll complete the job, but I've certainly, put in here everything that I can, pending some new parts arriving, or some new old parts arriving, actually. So let's start at the preamp end. This was a 2K7 and it was a cathode film. I've rated my old stock of carbon comps here. This is an 820. Okay, it's actually measuring 1K, but I'm completely cool with that. This is all unchanged. Here I've got a Mallory 150. This is a 0.0022, right? So that's just in there temporarily until I get my new old stock mustards. But it's the value I'm going to be using. These were hidden behind this 100 picofarad bright cap here are two 470K. This is the mixing resistors, right? That mix the signal between the normal channel and the treble channel. These were 270K. They're carbon films at the moment. They will come out and be replaced by carbon comps when they arrive. Hidden underneath this is a 0.68 microfarad bypass cap. Underneath it is the original 820R carbon comp resistor. So I have got the 0.68 bypass, which was stock in 68 Marshall 50 watts, I believe. Well, certainly many of them had it. And what we've got here is a 330 microfarad fat cap. Right, so that's new. I've got a 250 picofarad here in parallel. This is the treble cap. It was 250. Right, again, this is a temporary arrangement until my 500 picofarad new old stock cap comes in. So I've just paralleled a 250 on top of the 250 that was there to get 500. It's temporary. As I said, that will get, both of these will come out with and will be replaced with a new old stock 500 picofarad 33K slope resistor. This was a 56K carbon comp. Again, I'm using a carbon film here. It's temporary. Got the right value, right? But it will be replaced with a carbon comp when that comes in. There were two old Elna caps in here. One was 15 microfarad, the other one was 22. Here I've got a dual 33 microfarad, right? I've got a brand new F&T dual 33 on order, which will go in here as the permanent cap. So this is just something out of my parts bin that I'm using while I'm waiting for those parts to arrive. But yeah, so we're going to have 32 microfarad in the V1 and V2 filtering. Okay, this is all left unchanged. Negative feedback as we go in order, right? So this was 27K on the 8 ohm tap. I've moved it to 47K off the 4 ohm tap. That was on Dave Friedman's advice. I do like it there, actually. It's opened the amp up quite nicely. Sounds fantastic. Here I had an old 10K 5 watt cement resistor, and I said that in part 1, you've remember the voltages in there. I've got 450 on the screen supply and about 370 on the phase inverter node. This is a 10K. This is an 8.2K, right? And I'm now measuring 317 volts on the phase inverter node, which is bang on where I want it. I've completely replaced everything in this bias supply except the old diode and that resistor there. New bias caps, new bias adjust pot, and a 47K there, all new. Okay, so the bias has all been completely cleaned up. To the preamp tube sockets, there was a 33K grid resistor here. That's gone. Here was a newer 100K, right, plate resistor for V2A. I have moved that out and put an old carbon comp in there just to keep it vintage. No changes here. On the power amp tubes, someone had put 470 ohm screen resistors in here, right? And 3L34s, if you're going to put screen resistors in, you want 1K. So those have come out, and I've put these nice ohmite 1K 5 watt screen resistors in place. I've still got these old, well, they're not old, I should say, but they probably are. Well, not as old as the amp, but these are 5K6 metal film grid resistors. They're going to come out when I get parts in, new old stock parts for my grid stoppers. All right, so they're still there, but they're going to come out. And what else can I tell you? I have changed the mid pot. So in the trem amps, move this tilts forward, these two pots here, which control the tremolo, which is no longer, the trem board would have been here. Oh, by the way, I did say in part 1 that the board had probably been replaced. I don't think it has been now. Again, Dave emailed me back, and he said, "No, mate. In the old trem amps, the trem section was a separate board, just butted up right against so they'd have the standard, 1987 board, and the trem section would just be butted up against it. So that's just been lifted out. So that's good news, I think. Back to these things. Yeah, so this was a 2 meg pot. This was a 50K pot. And as we know, with the EVH spec Plexi, you want a 50K mid pot. So I've swapped them. The 25K mid pot, which was here, has been swapped with this guy. Just flipped, took one out and replaced them, right? So this is 25K here, just parked up doing nothing. And my 50K, which is an old, original pot, right, is now in the mid position. So that's fantastic. And that's really livened up the amp fantastically. I haven't touched anything else. I'm going to keep the filtering at 50 plus 50, 100 microfarad mains, and 50 and 50 on the screens, and the phase inverter. So yeah, the filtering that we're going to finish up with will be 100, 50, 50, 32, and 32. That's it, guys. Next installment, when we see this amp, what we should see is all of these tropical fish come out. This Mallory 150, which is in here temporarily, will come out. These phase inverter couplers will come out. The presence cap will come out. The input and the negative feedback, or the other side of the phase inverter, this coupling cap, all of this is going to come out, and we should have a nice set of new old stock mustards in this amp, including some old carbon comps and an old 500 picofarad to put in that treble position. And if I can get all those parts and put this thing in, I reckon we would have brought it back to its former glory. All right, guys, that's it for part 2. Stay tuned for part 3. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. And I'll see you next time.